What up, good agents? It's Tristan. Today I'm missing my best bud, Nick Baldwin, but we're going to do without him today. Today we've got Daniel Ramsey and we've got Elle here from MyOutdesk. And you guys know I've been using MyOutdesk for almost 4 years now. It's crazy. I remember the first time I ever met Daniel was at an event
in Florida.
Yeah, dude, that was it. It was in Florida. The first time we had ever met. And just your company, man, absolutely amazing. Has helped me leverage so much. Now I have three ISAs, well, 3 virtual assistants that I'm using. So the reason we always team up with MyOutdesk is because they've helped us out so much. And I think everyone at least needs to take a look at leveraging out your business. It's like Tim Ferriss, right, dude? We're both Tim Ferriss fans.
Yeah.
And he says 4-hour work week, you can't get it done without virtual assistants. So without further ado, Elle is like the spotlight of this whole thing because she's the pro at making this whole process beautiful. Because Elle, you've hired or at least put agents with virtual professionals for like what? How many years now? Over 1,000? How many years have you done this, Elle?
Well, I've started out, first of all, good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a wonderful experience to be here with Daniel and Tristan. So I've been with MyOutdesk for over 5.5 years now, started in 2012 as an inside sales associate. And then an opportunity came my way. I got promoted as a client success coach. I handle a team of virtual professionals, and I worked alongside with clients, helping them have an empowered relationship with their VPs meaning virtual professionals. So every time I say VP, please don't get confused with that. It's virtual professionals. And then another opportunity came about a couple of years ago. I was transferred to placements team, and I'd say that's the most exciting part of my career here at MyOutdesk. So yes, that's right. I've placed over 1,000 clients, helping them find and match a talent that can, help them propel and take their business to the next level. And I'm loving it. And it's 1,000 and counting because we're moving really, really fast.
I love that. How's the audio for the people listening in? Because they said that my audio was a little bit off. Everybody can everybody hear both Elle and myself?
I hear you. There's a little feedback on Elle's side, but I mean, I don't know. Tristan, do you hear that feedback or no?
I did hear the feedback on Elle's, but I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it on you, but let me see. Yeah, everybody says our sound is great.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so dude, let's get on with this. So you guys have been around for how many years, Daniel? Just so everybody can understand how awesome you guys are.
Well, dude, we are excited because in April we'll be 10 years old.
10?
10.
Dude.
10 freaking years old, which is nuts, right?
That's crazy.
So I hired our first virtual professional back in 2007. So I've been doing this for more than 10 years, but the business really didn't get born until 2008. So yeah, literally in April, we'll be 10 years old. We're celebrating in the Philippines. We're having this huge bash. We call it ModCon. So we'll have
ModCon.
Yeah, ModCon, right? Kind of like Comic-Con, we've done that since the beginning. But yeah, we're super excited because, having affected so many, not only families in the Philippines, but families in the US in creating wealth and revenue and helping people have better lives. Like it's a cool mission,
I agree, dude. There's a couple people here, Lisa Archer says hi. Sven says hi.
Yeah.
The people saying hi to you. So let's get started, man. So for me, the biggest challenge has always been trying to find the right talent. Especially it gets even more challenging when I'm trying to hire a virtual professional, right?
Right.
Because not only do I not ever get to meet this person in real life, shake their hands and have lunch with them, talk to them, but there could be other barriers there. So tell me, Elle, how do you help agents deal with that? Because I know it's always a question.
So whenever there's a new sign up from sales, those are being handed off to us at placements. And we do contact the client. We ask them for their job description. Although that is already provided, we do verify if there's anything else that they're looking for, if there's any specific skill set that they're looking for in the candidates that we will be presenting to them. If they have any preferences, if they prefer female, male, if they have any time preference, etc. So we make sure that we pay attention to what they need and we take note of those. And then in the vetting process, we make sure that we narrow down the search to the typically three possible best matches for the clients. So we make it easier for the clients to do the vetting process. So it's all in us.
What's crazy too, Tristan, is like, so we'll provide like a video, job descriptions, that we'll check their previous employment history, and we do an FBI grade background check. So we're making sure these people are like really good fits. And our biggest value prop, as you know, is like you say, hey, Daniel, I need somebody new. And then Elle gets them in a couple days, which is unheard of, right? It takes months to hire somebody normally.
Where do you guys usually find your virtual professionals?
That's a good question. I mean, we have all kinds of different things. You know, we've got a couple celebrity VPs over there doing radio and doing Facebook stuff. And we have, I mean, it's just like your business, right? You lead generate for listings. We lead generate for talent. So we have an entire team. There's somebody here in the US office that is our chief people officer. So she handles 100% of all of our recruiting, and she's crazy, awesome, like talent herself. And she leads our entire recruitment team to find those people.
Nice. All right. So let's get to it, man. This is the section where we're going to be what you'll learn. So first thing, how to grow your business with virtual professionals. And I think before I read the book by Tim Ferriss, the whole 4-hour work week, which to me is super, it's a super important model. Because it helps you leverage. It says that leverage as much as you can with absolutely everything that you can leverage that isn't really, really super important for you to have hands-on, leverage it, right? So tell me some of the things or everything that you guys help with in regards to putting a virtual professional in that place to be able to grow.
You know what's crazy is Robert Kiyosaki. Like, I got a chance to meet him a couple of years ago, and he has this line that says the difference between rich people and poor people is simply one thing: they know how to leverage. Like, people who are successful in business simply know how to they just know how to leverage. And so leverage isn't like it's not a difficult concept. You think about and Lisa Archer, she's here listening. She introduced us to this concept of a sticky challenge. And we've talked about that before with this group, but just write down throughout your day, everything that you're doing and whether it's dollar productive or non-dollar productive, and then put them into categories, and just using a sticky note, you can kind of decide what it is you'd like to get rid of out of your day, and really track what you're actually doing. And that's a really powerful tool. We're also going to talk about outcomes, which, I mean, Elle and I have, this is kind of something that we've infused in the last 2 years into the business. And this is going to be new for everybody on this call. We've never shared this with anyone else other than our clients. And Tristan, you're 4 years old, so we probably haven't done it. But of course, I have a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I love that.
and dude, you last time we met, we shared like a leads tracker, and then you actually had your VP go and implement that in your business. So I was curious how that's worked out for you.
Oh, it's worked really well, dude. We're actually expanding from it and adding tracking to all the agents. So one of our biggest challenges is tracking.
Yes.
So we've outsourced it. We added another layer to it, which was the lead tracking was awesome, because I think you should definitely track where your leads are coming from, so you know your ROI, right? But we just added a whole team tracking for contacts made, calls, listings taken, so everything, so that it's become easier, and we're using our virtual assistant or virtual professional to do that. So we use an app called Counter. It's for, let me see if I can pull it out because it's super cool, easy. It's a little app called Counter, right? You see that?
Yeah.
And so the little app, you can modify whatever it is you want to add there. You can change them from calls to whatever you want. So it's easy for my agents to just input for the day. They made, let's say they made a total of 10 calls and they contacted 5 people. Well, at the end of the day, they just take a picture of it, send it to the virtual professional, and that's it. The virtual professional then uploads it into a beautiful graph. And now we're seeing who's making the calls, who's got contacts made, who they're closing, who they're not closing. So for us, it's so easy and beautiful to match. But that's something we outsourced, and it was getting really difficult because if you want agents to input the amount of people they called and the amount of people, it's never going to happen.
Right.
So that's one thing we added. How have you guys morphed the whole lead tracker?
Well, we haven't morphed it. I mean, what you're doing is doing lead and lag measures, right? Your lead measures calls, contacts. Lag measures are contracts, how many people are under contract, right? So that it can produce the result that you're looking for, which is revenue. Yeah. I mean, that's a lead lag kind of measure revenue conversation. It's not normal in the real estate world. Somebody asked what the name of the app was.
It's Counter, but it's only for Apple products. So it's Counters. See at the very top, it says Counters.
Can't see it. Counters. It's cool. We'll type it in, guys.
So I'll type it in. It's free. You don't have to pay for it.
Well, so the reason we brought up the spreadsheet is because we have a new spreadsheet, and this is about outcomes. So we've been training all of our new clients to think in this outcome-based thinking. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to let Elle, let's talk about it a little bit. How does that help you?
Outcomes are very important for us to determine the growth path of the client in terms of what the client wants to achieve in the business. So that way, although, for example, if they only wanted to hire an inside sales at the time, but we see that the outcome would lead them to hiring an administrative folk in the near future, then we at least can be prepared for that. And we can give recommendations to the client as to where the path would lead them next to.
Right.
So yeah, it's helping us very much during the vetting process as well.
Oh. So we're going to go over what they are, and then because it's a framework, it's nothing more. And I've written this out. So I love doing these little paper things for people. So these are the 5, right? So enhance the client experience. So that means have your sellers have a better experience, or have your buyers have a better experience, and then grow the business. Right. So more, basically listings or buyers. Uh-huh. Improve the quality. Everybody, sometimes in the real estate world, things get dropped and our clients don't get the best service. So Tristan's like, increase productivity. So, you're doing that with the leads tracker. You've implemented the leads tracker. Your virtual professional is tracking that. So you're increasing the productivity of your entire team by focusing on lead and lag measures. And then the last one is lowering costs. So, if there's a way for you to generate leads less expensive or get your accounting done for less money. So we believe those 5 outcomes are the only outcomes that exist in any business. Like, this is a bold statement. So Tristan, everything that you're doing lives in those 5 outcomes. And we're helping clients realize which one of those outcomes they're willing to pay for leverage in order to actually grow their company.
Nice, man. All right. And what are you seeing that agents are saying about this?
Well, what it's doing is I love it. The other day I'm talking to a buddy, kind of like you. He's a guy that I know and we've seen and traveled and stuff together. But I was talking to him and he had this concept of giving everyone a task list, like I'm going to have them do this, I'm going to have them do that, I'm going to have them do this. And then afterwards I'm like, and also a job description. I said, but really what you're trying to do is grow your business, right? And he's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm like, how are you going to do that? And then we started talking. So I was able to focus him on grow the business. he wanted to generate 2 new listings every month from a new channel, so a new listing lead channel, and he was going to use these 3 systems to do it. So basically we're helping people narrow down their focus on what they're willing to buy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense, because you're kind of what we do in Lab Coat Agents, right? As a whole.
Right.
We're testing all this stuff out, and we're saying, hey, look, this doesn't work. This kind of worked. You know what? This worked a lot, right? This is the same concept. Oh, very interesting, dude. I like that.
Well, and so you define, you measure, and then you clarify outcomes, right? So grow the business, increase, like another example is like increase the client experience. Most real estate people that want to be multi-million-dollar netting folks, they don't have a client experience measurement. Like the question, how likely are you to refer, friends and colleagues to us? Mm-hmm. They don't have a survey at the end of a transaction. They don't have a client, concierge or experience manager person. But the really big teams, the ones that are doing 500 to 1,000 transactions, they do, right? And those are majority of our clients, these really huge, teams like yours.
Which makes sense, man, because as you're starting off, I think you gradually grow your business, but you also gradually grow your mindset. So you're not really there yet mentally. Like I remember when I first hired my virtual professional, I was like, well, what do I have them do? Like, I know I need help, but are they going to be good? I think first you have to get comfortable with knowing that as soon as you let it go, it's going to screw up a little bit, but eventually it gets to where you want to get to, because you're kind of like working at it. And I think finally, like now, I'm like almost 4 years in, and Sandra, my virtual professional, she's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't function without her. That's
right.
How amazing she is. But it did take a lot of back and forth. Like, hey, you know what? Let's tweak this. Oh, you know what? You screwed up over here. Oh, you know what? I was wrong on this one. That's not how you do it. Right? Yeah. So it takes a little bit of time. And I think a lot of agents are not there mentally.
Yeah. Well, and Elle and I were talking the other day. One of the things that we wanted to do in this conversation was just kind of from her perspective, she's helped so many people match talent, that she has a really good, like, how to communicate and how to engage, because you're right. Growing the mindset is so important. So Elle, like, share with everyone your experience about like what that looks like to help people communicate and engage with their VPs.
Okay, so based off my experience as an inside sales associate myself back in 2012, and having the idea of what other teams are doing, other clients are doing, their best practices and whatnot, I think communication, just like any other businesses, it's very, very important. It's an integral part of the business overall. And if you have a really good relationship with your virtual professional, treating that person as if that person is just right beside you in the office and not a remote worker, that is the key. Because that person will feel inspired, feel appreciated being part of the team, and not just, a virtual assistant or virtual professional from miles away. I think that one is very important. And when we say communication, we mean closely and actively communicating with your virtual professional. And that could mean on a daily basis for the first part, meaning first few weeks perhaps, until the VP gets acclimated to your systems and tools. It could be once a week, twice a month, depending on the readiness of your virtual professional. Once the VP is up and trained, then you can do your thing. I mean, you can do your dollar productive activities such as face-to-face, those kind of stuff. But for the first part, it's very important for you to have an active conversation with your VP in terms of tasks, in terms of business goals and whatnot.
That's a really great point you bring up, Elle, because I think the moment I started feeling comfortable with Sandra, my virtual professional, is when I started texting. First of all, I realized she had an iPhone, and I could iMessage her, right? Because it's so much easier for me.
Yep.
As soon as I could text her in that form, it was like we started creating a bond. Like now I just text her. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, how's your day? So I think, and then I send her some gifts and some funny pictures, and then we're going back and forth, and now we're learning to appreciate each other. That's a huge point that you just made. And I think I really didn't think about that until you said it. So yeah, for everybody listening here, that's super important. You've got to connect a little bit deeper with that person that you can. I think, do you guys think that maybe some agents or just people in general that hire virtual professionals don't really see the virtual professionals as, I mean, this does sound weird, but as real people?
Yeah. And it drives me crazy because, so we're rebranding away from virtual assistants because our people like Elle, I mean, she's just a badass, right? You can hear it in her voice. She understands, she gets it. Sandra, yours, I mean, we've had a long friendship too, and they're just really, our folks are professionals. They're going to help you attain your goals, right? And if you treat them as part of your team, like we were talking earlier, like if you can celebrate with them, right, Elle? Like send them swag, like a team shirt and a mug. Dude, that stuff makes them excited. Like, I mean, do that stuff and you're just like going to rock their world,
That's a really good point, dude. I didn't even think of that part. That's really good. Look, I still have a lot of work to do. Okay. So. I feel kind of bad now.
Well, dude, let's just send Sandra some stuff.
Let's just do that. I'm just gonna do that, right? I just put it in. I just put it in my notes to do.
Yeah.
So Elle, tell me how you guys go about matching talent, because, like I said at the very beginning, we have a challenge doing that when we're hiring real estate agents into a team or a brokerage. Mm-hmm. How do you guys do it on your end? Because it's just as hard, I'm assuming.
Harder.
Our vetting process is very thorough. We do have, like what Daniel mentioned earlier, FBI grade background checks, rounds of reference checks prior to the candidates being endorsed to training and to placements. So we are looking at 3 E's, which means experience, expertise, and employment. So experience, meaning the candidate should have a proven successful track record prior to joining in MyOutdesk, and there should be a third-party verifiable training that we can also check to make sure that these folks are doing very well with their past jobs prior for bringing them on board. Also employed, meaning they're actively working and we're just simply switching them or moving them from where they are to the real estate arena. So apart from the 3 E's, we're also looking at the double A. We call it attitude and ambition. So these candidates should be highly driven, highly motivated. They understand the business. They're willing to be part of the business and grow with their clients, their potential clients. And apart from that, we also have GWC. I'm sure you're very familiar with this, get it, want it, and capacity to have it. So we're looking at all of these and making sure that all these elements come together when we do the vetting process for the clients, making sure that we're not just finding them the right fits, but the perfect fits for what they're looking for.
All right, so you have that down, right? I think that's super cool. But on our end, I have 2 different questions that I get asked a lot. So like I just had a real estate agent friend of mine who just is thinking about hiring a virtual assistant. And I've hired like, I don't know, like altogether probably almost 10. It's not amazing, right? You guys have hired thousands, but
it's a lot.
Look, I'm new. So this person though is trying to hire somebody. They're trying to think, well, what questions do I ask on my end? Because first, I don't want to sound like an idiot, right? When I'm trying to.
Okay. Well, you know what? This is so great, and I love it. We got to go back to the outcome. When somebody if you need an ISA, right? What you're really doing is you're growing your business, and the challenge that new people have is they don't have the scripts, they don't have a system in place. They're not really sure where they're going to get the leads. They don't really know. They want to try something new, but they're not sure, and so they come and hire us. That is almost definitely going to fail, right? If you don't know or you don't already have a system in place. What's great about you is when you hired Sandra, you had an existing pipeline of buyers and sellers, so you can have her be successful right away, right?
Yeah,
so
very true.
Well, and it always goes back to the outcome. So your question should be centered around like what you want to accomplish. Like, So for instance, if you're hiring an ISA, somebody here was asking that, Brian. The thing about the ISA is that, look, you want to make sure that they're good phone salespeople, right? If you're hiring a marketing person, you want to make sure their design is great. So you're going to ask them questions about like, what have you designed? You know, how have you created engagement? You think of Yan, right? The gal that works for you.
Oh, dude. First, I have to pause you because Yan works for Lab Coat Agents on the back end, and she creates, or she helps create, all of our graphics that you see in Lab Coats, all of our video editing. She keeps us kind of organized on the back end when we need to post out to social media. She edits all the videos and all the webinars, and she sends them over to our website people, and so we can put it into a blog. So Yan does a whole bunch, and she's a pro, man. Yan has been absolutely amazing. So not only can you guys do the ISA portion of it, right? You guys can also have a graphics design type editor person for video, which is huge for me.
Right.
Oh, and they do a great, dude, they did the little intro for I Am Tristan for the whole YouTube thing I have. That was a sick thing they did.
Yeah. Well, here's the beauty of it. Like, that's a marketing coordinator, right? And it's a $60,000 to $70,000 job in LA where you're at. Like in Malibu, forget about it. Dude, you're not going to find somebody for like probably less than $100,000, right? Oh, we lost you. No voice.
There it is. Sorry, I muted myself for a second.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, dude, I was just saying, yeah, you're right. Keep on going.
Yeah. But the point is, you know, the other position that we typically hire for is like project manager. So you can think of any administrative or operations stuff, but you always have to go back to the outcome. Like Yan removes all of that marketing coordinator job role from your plate so you can focus on this kind of stuff and making connections and growing your team and loving on your community. Well, if you didn't have her, you'd be working another 40, 50 hours a week. And that's what we do. And so all of your interview questions have to be centered around that outcome and what you need to be done and making sure that that person's a good fit. Does that make sense?
Dude, 100%. Then before we get into Playbook for hiring and onboarding, which I think is huge.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, can you break down the different people that we can hire from MyOutdesk so I can write them in here?
Yeah. So definitely anything sales, right? What we call SDRs, sales development reps, or prospecting, virtual assistants or ISAs. That's a strong area. Like half of our folks are doing that right now.
And when you mean that, like sales, ISA type thing, are you saying people that can make the calls to prospect, like for sale by owners, expireds, calling, reaching out to past clients in your sphere?
Yeah. So, you do an amazing job on Facebook and lead generation and technology. Lisa Archer does an amazing job on open houses and her team. And she does a really great job of circle prospecting, doing FISBOs, door knocking, hanging stuff. So when it comes to, client events, we have a client in Washington who has a virtual assistant team who calls to invite all of their past clients and referrals to client events. So when they have a pie giveaway or I love a latte or a movie night or whatever their thing is, the virtual professionals are calling the entire database to invite all of their past clients to reward them for doing business with that particular company.
So we can use, or we can have them help us just to reach out to our past clients routinely or for an event.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's cool. I'm thinking now.
Well, Sandra's amazing on the phone. Like your gal is amazing.
I think she's better than me sometimes, which is scary. Because she's telling me like, what? You forgot, you didn't ask this? Did you find out this? I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't know.
Well, what's good about that though, what I would clarify is you have a lot of different outcomes. She has a singular focus to generate revenue for you. Her job is to grow the business. So she doesn't have to think about what's going on in lab coats, who they need to hire, whether you profitability, how you're going to generate leads. That's all your concern because you're the owner, right? You're the guy that's got to make it all happen. Mm-hmm. But she has a singular focus. So she can be really like, I mean, what we call professional or amazing, right? And so that's why she's so awesome, because she lives, breathes, and eats getting revenue for you. And that's what, yeah, that's her thing, right?
Got it. All right. So you've got the sales, ISA, past client outreach, all that. What else can a virtual professional do from yours? So I can type it in here, like transaction coordinator.
Yeah. And you know what? Last time we gave out a leads spreadsheet. We also talked about Agile, which is a project management kind of thinking, like an Agile project management Excel spreadsheet where you can track the progress of all the different projects that you're doing within your business. Think about it like this, like who does what by when? Like it's a simple conversation, like who on your team is going to help you do what by when, right? And that's what a project manager, transaction coordinator, listing coordinator, all of the, client concierge, they're just mini project managers. So it's just really good to have some sort of a system to keep them kind of aligned with how to do it. SkySlope's a good one. There's a lot of tools out there to help, our virtual professionals be really efficient for you. And so admin, operations, like we do that all day long. And then Yan, marketing, right?
Yeah, she's huge in marketing. So would you say that somebody can come in and say, hey, I want somebody to help me edit all my videos because I'm shooting a lot of community videos. Do you guys have somebody like that?
Yeah, but here's us helping you clarify the outcome. The reason that you're shooting those videos is because you want to grow your business. So you're creating content that you hope will grow your business by shooting community videos. So the outcome there, see, you're thinking task and we're trying to focus you into an outcome. So how do I drive listings from this community, video series, right? That's really the outcome. And so that changes everything.
It does. It changes my approach so that I'm not just looking at this person just for doing one thing. It's more now like I'm leveraging almost a whole department with this one person.
Well, and think about it, editing the video is one, but you need to have a call to action. You need to have, probably some sales copy on the website. You need to have some sort of a capture mechanism, like a landing or a squeeze page so that you can have somebody register. You've got to create a YouTube channel, and like there's a whole list of tasks basically that are going to happen in order to get that outcome. But when you come to us and you say, hey, Daniel, we need somebody who's doing a video editor, we can find that. But what you probably need is I need somebody who can help me grow my business by creating content that's engaging, that will cause people to raise their hand and be interested in doing business for me. That's the highest order of outcomes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense, dude. I just added that to the notes there.
Well, and for anybody who's like, what the hell is Daniel talking about? He's crazy. We have this, that happens to me all the time, by the way, Tristan. We have this text right here. So if you text MODVP to 555-888 and you just put your name, we'll kind of meet with you, go over outcomes, really give you a spreadsheet, help you through it, talk to you about whether you hire us or not. We believe that when you do job descriptions and outcome-based thinking, you're going to be more successful and you're going to create more opportunity.
Perfect. I'm going to I took a picture of you holding that up.
Oh, good.
I'm just going to put that into a completely different post.
Yeah, there you go. Watch out.
All right. So, dude, tell me about Playbook for hiring and onboarding, because we talked a little bit about this 2 months ago, right?
Yeah.
And I've always had a challenge with onboarding because I really never sat down and created the whole onboarding process for an agent or for a new hire on the admin or as a virtual professional. So tell me about that.
I'm gonna let Elle talk about that.
Talk to us about that, Elle.
Oh, sure. So one of the things that we're looking into is having a checklist, a clear-cut job description, or clear-cut guidelines for the tasks that you wanted your VP to work on. So even prior to day one, you should have a good understanding of what needs to be given to the virtual professional, so she or he too can have a good understanding of the role. Because like what Daniel said, if you have one direction, one solid goal, then it's a lot easier for the VP to achieve success and to get the job done. And I wanted to add, I'm sorry if I back up a little bit, I wanted to add a little bit about what Daniel and you were talking about, the task and the roles that we offer here at MyOutdesk, not just listing, transactions, ISA. Just recently, I've been working with a client in telecommunications company. It's a big one in Chicago. So we also provided VPs for them as project coordinators. So I may not have exactly the job description for that particular role, but even those kinds of businesses we also cater. So basically everything, actually. We have antique shops, we have boutiques, we have pest control, etc. Anything that you can train your VP on, we got it.
Wow. Okay. So that's, I love that, because as I'm growing too, I can bring in somebody to kind of help me with that part of it as well. And then I can hire to that. So that's actually what we've done with lab coats, thanks to you guys. So we've been able to leverage ourselves out a little bit more.
There's another, you were talking about onboarding. I learned this from everything that we're sharing, we've learned from some client, right? All the Excel spreadsheets, all the outcome-based thinking, like all of this stuff is some compilation of either folks that work for MyOutdesk or our clients, and they employ virtual professionals. And somebody once said you need to play, pause, do. And we've shared that. I mean, this is a video on Facebook, and just shooting videos of the outcomes that you're after and sharing the how along with the VP is a positive way. Like if you have a listing that needs to get marketing, if you go through the steps on your screen about all the things that you want done on that particular listing, and then you make a video of it, and then you can have it forever, and then once you have it forever, like it makes it training and onboarding somebody a lot easier. So we're big fans of play, pause, do. So you play the video, you pause it, then you do the work, and then you play it again and pause it and do, and then you can get through a lot of different tasks like that.
Dude, I've been doing that for reading books. I didn't even know that was a thing. Reading, like you read, you pause, you do it. You're like, okay, let's outline this. Then you keep on reading. Then you pause, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know we could do that for video mentally. Mental note.
Well, the other thing is, once you do a video, I would even have the VP transcribe the video and then go and write a step-by-step process around it. So they're in their writing, they're taking the video that you help them do, and then they're outlining it, right? And then once they share that back with you, you guys can circle up and just kind of confirm that, yes, the video is right, the written process is right, and now you've effectively done what we call gotten leverage, right? You've given away, and we call it compound leverage. When you give away a task and it's properly handed off, you never have to do that task ever again.
Okay, that's awesome, dude. And that, I think, is a big challenge for real estate agents to do, because I feel like sometimes they're going over and over and over the same thing.
That's right.
All right, good.
And but the most successful ones, like you and others, you guys just grab onto these concepts and then you just implement. And that's what I love about real estate is there's a lot of guys that just, they find a model that works and then they implement. And when you do that, it's just, you're going to be more successful. And so we've gotten the opportunity to look at all these different clients and say, hey, this is the best. These are best practices across the board. Do it like this.
I agree, dude. There's a lot of ways to succeed. It's just a matter of implementing and being consistent. So, do you guys have something? I remember you guys having something on onboarding that you guys shared with us before, or no? Or am I wrong?
No, you know, your earlier question was like, what questions do we ask? Like
Yeah.
we have an entire question sheet. So when somebody comes on, if you're not really sure how to interview somebody or what to say or, you know, how to go through that process.
Can you send that over to me? Or make a little page, like a ClickFunnels page where people can like put their email and sign up for it. And then I'll post it up on Lab Coats and be like, hey, this is free. Just put in your email address and then download it.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to.
Because I think a lot of people will really like that one a lot.
One of my favorite questions is, who are the 3 people you admire, respect the most in the world, and why? That's one of my favorite questions.
Well, that's a tough question, dude.
Well, and a little caveat for the folks in the Philippines, you have to tell them not to say their parents because they are going to say their mom or dad, you know?
That's funny.
You know?
That's true.
And so, but it's good because you find out a little bit about who they are and what they're, you know, what they're capable of.
Nice, dude. I like that. All right. So number 4, guidelines for building long-term team chemistry and VP assimilation. We talked a little bit about VP assimilation with Elle mentioning that you should really engage a lot more with your VP, which I think it was huge.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us guidelines for building this whole thing successfully, because we don't want it to fall apart just a few months in either, right?
Right.
That's correct. So it's important for you to determine the tool, first of all, that you'd like to use in communication. And what would that be? Skype is free. It's free of charge. You can use Skype. At least you can see your virtual professional face-to-face. It's a lot easier to do it that way. And then you can also share your screen to check knowledge and to check understanding. So like what Daniel said, it's important for the VP to have like a good guidelines, good set of what do you call this, package for them to understand the role. Because from the get-go, if you want to get that established, it's going to be hard for the VP to follow instructions. So Skype is one, Google Hangouts. If you have RingCentral is good too because it has a recording feature. That way you can use that for training and coaching purposes. So you can just go back, extract the calls, and send it to your VP. So
Okay.
and review.
That's if they're making the calls, right? What about somebody who's more like an admin, in an admin position or marketing position, kind of like Yan is for LCA?
Mm-hmm.
She's more like on the marketing side of it. So how would you say a long-term relationship can build and stay healthy with somebody that on that end who's not making calls for us to track?
To be honest, the administrative professionals handle really sometimes sensitive information. The clients would even trust them with bank accounts, social security. So we make sure that these are covered, and we do have a tracking system to ensure security of the information. We also have the coaches available to help out in the process. So we have a dedicated division or department here at MyOutdesk. We call them Client Success Team, and they are working side by side with clients in the first 3 months or 90 days to ensure that the transition will be easy breezy. Okay. So we have that in place. Mm-hmm.
Good. I'll give you some my feedback on why I think we've worked really well with Yan is because we put her, first day we put her on Facebook Messenger, and the communication just goes back and forth so easy. Like if I'm just texting Nick, right? Or if I'm like texting Daniel, it becomes so much easier than trying to go out to a system that I don't normally use, like Skype, right? Or I'm not going to really call somebody through RingCentral, or I usually text or use Facebook Messenger. So I think if you find the tool where you're most comfortable communicating from, you can really start creating that relationship with that other person.
Yeah. The only upgrade that I would say is like video is so awesome. I mean, like if you can just video with them once a week or once a month or some version of that, if you can video them into your meeting, if you can celebrate with them, that's the other thing we talked about. If you can celebrate big wins, like when, you know, Yan does something amazing that causes a huge win and just celebrate and then just have communication. Too many times our folks, I haven't talked to my client in 2 weeks. I'm like, what? You haven't talked to your client in 2 weeks? No text, no message, and you're like, what's going on?
It becomes easier for you to think that you don't need this person.
Yes.
There's like a disconnect, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you from experience. So it's like, you don't talk to somebody for a long time, a virtual professional. It's like, do I really need them? And then you're like, you let them go and you're like, oh crap, I needed them. I just never communicated with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, that is such a really good point. Video and celebrate. So I'll give you something that I'm terrible at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm terrible at celebrating moments. I'm just terrible. I can send you a text and put yay and put like little hearts and exclamation. Yeah. But like to celebrate the moment, like I think you're saying it, like Tony Robbins says, celebrate, right?
Yeah.
I'm terrible at that. It's something I'm working on, and I think that goes along with the whole sending things and gifting, which is not something I normally do.
Well, you know what? Here's a great point, and you mentioned it earlier on. When you were building your real estate company, you made money by grinding. And then when you got to another level, you made money by creating a team. And now you're at a new level where you're going to actually create opportunity through vision and getting people engaged in creating an amazing experience for lab coat agent people. Like that mission right there is engaging for a lot of folks. And so all of a sudden what you realize is like, oh my God, I've got to celebrate with people. That's not what got me to this level of success. That's just not what did it. I'm a grinder. And that's the world that we're all in, is like, every time you get to the next level, you've got to learn a new process, I guess.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I'm learning that part. And I agree. I think I need to stop and celebrate everybody else's wins because I'm so used to just going. Yeah. And for me, just getting to that next level is celebration enough, right?
Yeah.
But, we're not like everybody else. So we need to stop and acknowledge and think. Good point. Dude, I feel like you guys coached me. Elle, Daniel, I feel coached.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just wanted to add Tristan, that celebration doesn't have to be costly. A simple email message that, hey, you're doing a good job. We closed this client says you're awesome. That will go a long way. Doesn't have to be really expensive.
All right. I agree. You're so right. I just have to change that, the approach on my end. I love that. Good. That was good insight. I learned something here, so thank you.
Well, dude, I know your VPs. They love you. So you're not doing a bad job.
Okay, good.
And they really do. But everybody, okay, so we're giving away a bunch of stuff. We're definitely going to give away those questions like Tristan asked inside Lab Coat. So if you register on that page, we'll give you all the questions that we like to ask, and they're really good ones. And then also, if you guys are here and you text, we're going to share not only our belief around outcomes and how important that is, but we're also going to spend some time doing what we call the 7-figure agent map, the roadmap that we've been talking about. We've been talking about this for a long, long time, but we help companies grow their business like we have with Lab Coats, like we have for Tristan, and like we have for all the people on this who've been like, we love MyOutdesk. The reason they do is because we'll take you from where you are today and help you get to the next level. And that's what we do through outcomes, through leverage, through great hires. People like Elle, she's so amazing, and we love having her on the team. So if you guys text that number, we'll get you hooked up. Even if you don't need a person, we're going to give you this stuff for free. So when you're ready, you're set. Tristan,
dude, can you Yan or someone listening in, can you guys text me the things that people will get by texting that number, and I'll post it up on Lab Coats separately. And then I have a picture of Daniel Ramsey holding up that sheet. It's so sexy.
Oh. That picture.
Yeah, it's similar to that.
Yeah.
So I'll post that one up along with the number. And a couple of people are asking for the number again. Can you hold that one up?
Yeah. It's easy. It's 555-888. So it's really super easy. And if you text MODVP, because virtual professionals, mod, MyOutdesk, virtual professionals. And again, you'll get a conversation with us. You'll get an outcome thing where you get to define, measure, and clarify what matters to you to get to the next level. We'll go through it. Go ahead.
No, awesome. Dude, I'm excited. That's awesome.
Yeah. And every time we meet, we'll try to give you some value because that's what we want to do.
You guys always do. So, Elle, anything you want to add in closing?
Well, I just wanted to tell everybody that when they're ready, I will be here along with my placements team, my teammates. And yeah, we're ready to find them the best, perfect virtual professional that can take their business to the next level, because their business success is very important to us. We're not just placing, finding, matching talents randomly. We are intentional in matching them. So yeah, I'm excited.
Perfect. Elle, thank you so much for being on. It was great having you.
Thank you so much as well for having me here. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone.